So today's discussion is on breakfast. So, and what is a good breakfast? Now, the yogic uh, practice for a good breakfast. So, breakfast means in the Vedic times, morning is a time of contemplation. Morning is a time of being very meditative, very peaceful, very calm. And the morning shows the way. So, literally, your morning begins the previous night. Your morning is already set with the previous night. So, we are, if we do not uh, take care of the night, if you do not sleep well enough, if you do not take care of the night, then your morning will also not be good. Then your morning will also not be good. So if the night is taken care of properly, then morning goes good, then breakfast goes good. So how does that work? So night, what happens is, depending on what you eat and how you sleep, to that degree you have uh, to that degree you will have the in the body you will have impurities. And first thing, in as soon as we wake up, is the more you have uh, impurities, the more you are eager to eat. So morning we should feel more meditative. Morning is a time for meditation. And if we want the effect of that meditation, if we want strong meditative effect in the morning, then we have to purify our mind, our heart. So morning should always be light. So the first thing that we have to do is to prepare for the morning. We have to have very light. We have to have nice meditation at night. I will discuss more about night. Like today, I'm discussing morning, then we do afternoon, and then we do night. So if you eat heavy dinner at night, like Prabhupada says, once you eat heavy, then you need to sleep heavy. Then what happens when you sleep heavy? So when you wake up in the morning, so sleep. So one of the 5 types of thoughts is sleep. So the quality of your sleep. So the quality of your sleep determines. So the quality of your sleep determines your thought process in the morning. If the quality of your sleep is sattvic, then you wake up very energetic in the morning. If your quality, so if your quality of sleep is rajasic, then when you wake up, you are in a momentum to do something, to eat, to do this, to do that. You are really very, very kind of heavily busy. But if your quality of sleep is tamasic, as soon as you wake up, like I know one friend, one devotee friend of mine, he says, as soon as I wake up, as soon as I wake up, It is Ekadashi. I feel like I'm hungry. So basically, your thought influences. So how you sleep. One of the best things I found, before you sleep, you have to sit in. Uh, I found that if you nicely sit in Vajrasan, we'll do a practical yoga class at the end of our Sukshma Jnan. Like today, I'm doing breakfast. Tomorrow, we'll do lunch. Then we'll do dinner, and then we'll do a yoga class also as a part of our program. So the thing is, Vajrasan, sitting in Vajrasan, settling the food at night, deep breathing, calming down, and with a mood to sleep that I want to give my body proper rest. What happens with us is we just jump off to sleep. But sleep is also a beautiful ritual. It is 7 hours you are doing something. So if you sleep well, wash your mouth nicely. Because if your mouth is dirty, body is dirty. It is said ghosts will enter your body, which is true. Then you get all kinds of dreams. So your body is being used by all these ghosts and goblins and all these things. So if you come out of it, if you can clean yourself before you sleep, then your quality of sleep is sattvic. I found that if you sit in swastikasana and siddhasana or siddhasana, I'm actually working on a video today. That is the best asana for doing japa also. So if you sit with back straight, and Prabhupada explains this in third canto, that if you are able to sit, he explains that pose also. And I'm going to explain that pose in the video. And if you're able to sit with your back straight and you're able to chant, there is amazing difference in your chanting. And what happens with this, I found, is that as soon as you do that, your mind is calm, you go to sleep and you get good sleep, you get sattvic sleep, and you are fresh to wake up. You get fresh to wake up. You are fresh to wake up. And when you are fresh to wake up, you are not as hungry as soon as you wake up. So the morning should be spent very contemplatively. Now, let us go through Hari Bhakti Vilas. What does Sanatan Goswami say? So in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatan Goswami says, one should wash the mouth 29 times, or at least 19 times. You like this, with the water, you wash the mouth. And when you do that, what happens is overnight, there is a lot of cough around your facial area. So what this does, it blocks your cognizance. Your mind is foggy, your eyes are foggy, your thought process is foggy. That cleanses out. You have to cleanse out all the fogginess. So once you wake up, your mouth is dirtier than your anus. Your mouth, 50% of your digestion is in your mouth. If you really want to change your digestive level, if you want to change your level of speech, if you want to change the way you speak, if you want to be Gaur Gopal Das, I'm just saying. So if you want to speak, then the first thing is mouth. So the mouth should be really clean. So the yogi, as soon as he wakes up, the first thing you clean is the mouth. The last thing you also clean at night is the mouth. The first thing you clean in the morning is the mouth. So before breakfast, whatever breakfast, you have to have this ritual. So you clean your mouth, you completely relax out. And at the same time, you have to also cleanse your tongue. Morning, nicely massage the tongue, and nicely massage the tongue and cleanse out all the cough from the throat, from the facial region. Sometimes when you feel too much cough, especially in rainy season and all that, so what you should do is you should drink a little salt water and just tickle your throat and vomit it out. I will tell you the first day I did this. I'll share this experience. So I was doing my post graduation in yoga, and I was in my first semester. And this was the first day for us to do this dhauti. So you take this salt water, you drink about 6 glasses, and then you tickle your throat, you get like vomiting. And then the salt water throws out all your cough and all this, so it throws out. So the first day I did that, a lot of tomato skin came out. He said, "Oh, you Hare Krishnas, I know you guys make paneer and tomato chutney, all tamasic food." My professor told me, all you Hare Krishnas are addicted to tamasic tomatoes and tamasic paneer. So for me, that was a shock, because for us, like tomato, this, that, somehow we got used to tamasic food, in the name of prasad, and we kind of got used to it. And I was like, that was the first time I really learned that tomato skin doesn't digest. It stays in your stomach forever. And then, moreover, that's when I learned that tomato seeds also cause appendicitis. And I realized that in all our diet, we use these potatoes and tomatoes so much. And Prabhupada explains very clearly that all our thoughts are all due to pressure of air. And then when you use bangan a lot, then when you use potatoes a lot, that cause vata, that increase this level. And then you have these tomatoes on top of it. It's very highly tamasic. So in the name of prasad, what are we doing to ourselves? Where does it affect you? It affects you in your deeper thinking, the food that you eat. Ayusham tejam arogyam. It increases, decreases your span of life. That is number one. Second is the subtle intelligence by which you need to understand subtle. We understand chanting Hare Krishna. We understand all these things. But these subtle little things in behavior, in understanding sukshma, subtle behavior, interaction with devotees, all that depends on food. I remember when I was doing my first program in Pune, 12 years back, that's before I came to the US, Radheshyam Prabhu had invited. So I was in Pune. It was such a wonderful experience. In the beginning, devotees, they were very excited, and they implemented actually many of these. But before that, the morning khichdi was like, the morning khichdi was with so much chilies. So much chilies. Imagine morning, get hitting yourself. So you are in Shuddha Sattva after the whole morning program. Then imagine getting yourself hit with chilies. Very rajasic, very tamasic. So the morning shows the way. So the morning is, you have to cleanse. So it begins with the previous night. So the previous night, if you cleanse, so Sattva Guna means you are feeling calm. I'll tell you my experience of last night. So now I'm doing this Chandrayan Vrat. I'm sure many of you, for the next batch, many of you are interested. Next full moon, June 5th. Yesterday, I was on Zoom calls for about 10 to 12 hours. And I had little lunch. And because for each person who is enrolling, and somehow I could not eat dinner because of that. But then I was very light. So I decided to practice my yoga, because throughout the day I couldn't do. I need an hour to do my yoga. So once I did that, I never felt hungry, because that's when because of this whole fasting that I did, once you set your body to Sattva Guna, it takes one reset. Once you do that, I never felt hungry, and I did not feel like eating also, because for kids, you keep on giving them something. But when I woke up today morning, just before this class at 6:15 my time, I had my session. But before that, 2 hours before. So 5.5 hours I slept, like 10:30. I woke up like at 4:30. I was fresh. So the moment you eat heavy at night, your morning gets disturbed, your morning program. So then we think all these issues that come. So it's all in eating, controlling your eating. The less you eat, it's fine. You can add a little more to lunch. So the morning, first brush, wash your mouth 19 to 29 times. Who is saying this? Sanatan Goswami is saying this in Hari Bhakti Vilas. The mouth is so dirty, he says. 50% of your digestion takes place in your mouth. Takes place in your mouth. It is so important to wash your mouth so nicely. So once you do that, cleanse the tongue, cleanse your eyes. So how do you cleanse the eyes? You take water and you put your eye nicely into it. Open your eye and put in there. Or else you can take some water and sprinkle into your eyes. And you can actually, what do you call it? Cry, what do you call it? When you sprinkle water straight into your eyes, what happens is the eyes begin to water. So in this way, your senses should be cleansed in the morning. Sanatan Goswami advises this. In Hari Bhakti Vilas, he says, if you brush properly, you will not get any disease. If you brush properly. He is giving so much importance to Vaishnavas brushing because Vaishnavas have to be free from disease. So the best way is to brush and cleanse properly. So even before breakfast, see, you are beginning. So when that happens, your senses calm down. So if you are clean, if you have any agitation, means it is the mind, but also it is the body, so any acidity and other things that is left over in the body, that makes you crave for a heavy breakfast. Now let me remove one misconception about breakfast. They say eat breakfast like a king or prince, whatever they say. Don't do that. What is good in breakfast? So the thing is, the first thing what you do in the morning is after you cleanse and everything, you take only Charanamrit, right? Or Tirth. You just purify. You are sitting in contemplation. The second thing is you have to cleanse your belly also. The first thing that you have to do if you want to really do that, take hot water. There are two things that you can take after in the morning. One is hot water. The second thing what you can do is ginger turmeric tea. So what should you do for that? Just heat water in the morning, or turmeric adha chammach powder, and then half a spoon ginger. Just add. Either hot water with simple lime or this. Drink it in the morning. Hot water. And if you have constipation related problems, that will also go. Because if you are constipated, you cannot do much. Because what happens because of constipation, believe it or not, we are conditioned souls. That's why it affects us. We are not liberated souls. So when you are constipated, what happens? The pressure in your belly is related to the pressure in your head. The pressure in your belly is related to the pressure. It affects your concentration like anything when you try to chant in the morning. There was a yoga conference. So I'll tell you a joke. So there was a yoga conference. And in that yoga conference, somebody came in the keynote. He said, in Kannada, he said, I don't know, you're from Goa, many of you, so you might understand Kannada also. So they said, Yeddag laddi, bidag niddi, idyardidre manchnig en beku. So he said, as soon as you wake up, if stomach is empty, and as soon as you hit the bed, if you are able to sleep, what do you need? Right? So basically, everything begins with cleansing. So if you are able to clear your stomach, Vata is controlled. Vata is the pressure of air. And Prabhupada explains that your air pressure is responsible for all the problems. If you are able to control the pressure of air, then you will find an amazing change, a lightness. So what is that lightness? The lightness is this change of pressure. So that is why the lighter you eat at night, the lighter you wake up in the morning. The sattvic you sleep at night, the less sloth. So they call it sloth. Sloth means cough. So the heaviness is the kapha. So your body is a kapha, right? The chemicals are pitta, and the vata is the air, the movement in broad. Of course, there are mixed elements also. So when the kapha element, when the kapha element is heavy, your body is heavy, sloth. So that's why in the morning, the more you cleanse yourself, the more you drink this hot water and cleanse your stomach, cleanse your face, so that you are setting the mood. And at the same time, of course, today I will release the video of what is, believe it or not, Prabhupada has recommended this in a purport, Swastikasana. Prabhupada has recommended in a purport that one should sit with the soles of the feet between your thighs and sit with your back straight. And Prabhupada says that position is good for meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. It's so interesting. And I realized that it is in the application. It is in the application that we find how we apply this. That's how we will feel the benefit. I found that if you sit with your back straight at night, chant 2 to 3 rounds before you sleep, morning it helps to clear the belly. I don't know, but the Swastikasana at night, it really helped. And that is Prabhupada's formula also. And turmeric is very important, turmeric and ginger. So morning, take that hot tea, cleanse your stomach. And then later on, you do your morning program, you chant your rounds, whatever we are doing. That we can do separate. The last session of our program is attentive chanting. First we will do yoga, and next class we will do attentive chanting. But what I found was that morning, the breakfast, then we should take something very, very light, something which is not really cooked. So hot teas, number one. So in my book, Food for the Soul, so we have a number of hot teas. Cumin fennel tea, cinnamon fennel tea. So it's all in the book. It's very easy to make, but that changed. Yesterday, so we are having a lot of students for this Chandrayaan that I'm doing. And we are getting a lot of inquiries also. And many of them are saying, they are Hare Krishna devotees. They are saying that now we are able to give up tea and coffee because the turmeric and other teas in your book, they are so refreshing. Yesterday, I was doing this. She's not a devotee, but she joined our fast. She's from Seattle, Punjabi lady, Mataji, very nice. And she was getting severe headache because she couldn't quit coffee. She couldn't quit tea. She said, I quit tea one day, my head started aching. So then I told her, Mataji, immediately make this hot tea with make hot water, 1 spoon turmeric, 1 spoon ginger, just have it. She said immediately her headache went away. This is just yesterday. And many of them, so the thing is, these hot sattvic water, so then morning you don't feel very hungry. Actually, you should build up your hunger in the morning. So what is the best thing to eat? Smoothies, fruit juices, green juices. Take something liquidy in the morning. So that's the main thing. What happens with the morning eating? What happens with the morning eating is that once you eat heavy in the morning, then you eat heavy. See, again, one more thing I have to tell you. What I am talking about, it is our Brahminical. This is assuming you are not a farmer or something, or a physically hard worker. If you are sitting on technology all the time, and if you are not really using the plow, the physical work, then eat light in the morning. So if you are a farmer or something, then yes, you take a good breakfast, because then you have to digest, you have to hit, you have to work, you have to lift heavy. That is different. But a majority of us, we are in working in offices, or for that matter, if we are Brahminical. So morning, our work is basically to sit down and relax. So you have to eat according to. Once Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj was giving a beautiful lecture, he said that Bhima Karma Vrakodaraha. So Bhima is called Vraka Udara, means he eats like anything. You can eat like anything. So this is said. So he was saying, not all devotees can eat like anything. Why not? Because Bhima used to do Bhima Karma Vrakodara. He used to do Bhima Karma. He used to move mountains every day. So the point is, if we do not eat, so why do people, like I see people today, anybody and everybody has a belly. Anybody and everybody. Very few people have a nice flat stomach. And that is all because of we are not eating according to one, our Prakriti, not eating at proper time, and we are not eating according to our work. So that is why Atyahara, what does Rupa Goswami say? Atyahara prayasascha. So the shloka goes on in this end, Sadbir Bhakti Vinashyati. So he warns that eating wrongly can destroy your bhakti. What does he mean to say is that destroy your bhakti means we can get the results of our chanting very soon, but the results are delayed because I'm just waiting to just get out of this overeating. Because the thing is, what happens is when you overeat, it adds up to your mindset. When you overeat, you begin to think overeating. You begin to think about overeating. You begin, the desire level that you have, that is changes. So we do not want that level of. Yesterday I was doing a Bhagavad Gita class in the evening. So Krishna says that I am the Bhoktaram, I am the enjoyer. So the point is, the first thing you develop in the morning, the ideal breakfast is this body is Brahman. This attitude we should develop. Brahmarpanim Brahma Haver Brahmana Hutam Brahmena Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. So when this verse was going on, so everywhere I went, in every yoga conference I went, they do is they cook the food, and before they eat, they all stand in a circle. Even in Shivananda Ashram, I was surprised that they do this most wonderful prayer. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmanahutam Brahmena Teva Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. It takes meditation, it takes contemplation. If our eating has to be meditative, if we have to really become Krishna conscious, so then we have to be conscious. What happens is, you can imagine how we eat. So when we are eating, somebody is with you and you're like, Kaisa hai, kya hai? We are just fully concentrated on something. So that is why Prabhupada wanted us to play Krishna tape, or somebody is reading story of Krishna and we are eating silently. Ayurveda recommends. This Radhesham Prabhu told me when he was suffering with bad health, because he was pushing himself to the core, and what he has built is amazing, but that affected his health. He had weak digestion, and one of the things was, when you are thinking too much while eating, if you are talking too much while eating, if you are stressing yourself too much while eating, nothing digests. Because remember, what is happening is, when you eat, the food has to go from one pipe to the other in your body. And how does it flow in your body? Pressure. So if your pressure is somewhere, whatever you think, whatever you do, you are dividing the available pressure within your body. It's just like a house is on fire and you want water pressure. But if there are so many people pulling water from the same pipe, then the pressure available to you is low. So that is why it's an act of full concentration when you eat. So what I have started is, personally, when I eat, because I'm writing my book on yoga, what I do is, when I eat, I try to eat very, very, even when I drink, So I meditate on on Vishnu, Manipura Chakra, Lord Vishnu as the digestive fire, and silently drink, meditating on him. I am offering this to you. So your eating can be a yajna. So that is the mood you have to set in the morning. If you really want to be conscious, because conscious means, Krishna conscious means, yes, we see the deity in the temple, but the deity is right within your heart. The deity is right within your heart. How can you make your home a temple? How can you make your body a temple? So that is Krishna consciousness. So conscious. So this Brahman, this food is Brahman. It's not meant for overeating. It's not meant for enjoying. Cow, 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 cow. In the beginning, fine. But then if you do not control a yogi, so Prabhupada says, minimize eating, sleeping. Once Bhakti Vikas Maharaj was giving class, he said, yoga doesn't mean that we should, how to pass good stool and urine. No, yoga means to stop passing stool and urine. That was like the funniest thing, but the most important thing that I ever heard. And I saw it with Dhruva's life. Stop. Within a month, he could stop. I'm not asking you to do that. But the thing is, we have to be very controlled. So what we eat should become our meditation. So, so the point is that the morning should be very, very light. So if you are heavy, if you go out, if you do not have, so then you have brunch, heavy brunch, that is different. But morning, the chia seed water or sabja water. So in our book, Food for the Soul, so we have recommended that mornings you can make either smoothie, green drink, green juice, or the maximum solid best thing you can have if you really want to eat heavy is sprouts and salad, like, soft sprout. Sprout is, I found, the most wonderful thing to have for breakfast. Takes a bit of energy, especially if somebody has diabetes. Then you can have, or you are in borderline diabetes, then you can have what do you call that, methi sprout. So methi sprout, if you want to build up energy within you, then you should have green gram sprout. Actually, if anybody asks vegetarians ko protein kahan se milta hai, it's all in green gram, in the sprout. And in
Can
our
we
book,
ask a
we also
question?
have a prana sprout salad. So in that prana sprout salad, you add some veggies, to the sprout, and you have it with a little lime and pepper. That's all. Pepper means this black pepper. But the more you can make it like fruits, liquid, hot teas early morning. So all that will definitely help. Okay, I have a question. So now you can start asking questions in the chat, and as I'm speaking, I will start answering, just like we did yesterday. So I have prasadam 2 times a day. So eating uncooked vegetables and juices is okay to have. Yes. So uncooked vegetables means, I'm not understanding what do you mean uncooked vegetables. Vegetables, Prabhupada says raw eating is the best, but we have not reached that stage. We are still attached to the taste of the tongue. I've seen in most temples morning there is khichdi, and that is very heavy actually, rice and starch. That is good for those who are physically working hard, but in the long run, you see most temple devotees have so many health issues and so many issues with the mind also. So that is because of the heaviness of the eating in the morning. So if only thing is, if you are in the temple, you are following the temple program, just you have to make a little change. You have to eat little. The diet, I've seen so many nice devotees, but their diet, because whatever is available in the temple situation, it is tough sometimes to make your own diet situation. So that's, sometimes you have to work around that and make your own light eating, or even if you eat very light. That is one way of overcoming a situation where it is available. For example, one devotee was telling me that whatever he's eating is very heavy, so the rice, dal, sabji, it is very spicy, and so what you should do is you should start eating very, very You should start eating very, very simple. Rice with ghee, for example. So if you think the sabjis are heavy, this, that, too much sugar. So in some temples they make sugar, but milk, hot milk, but they put too much sugar and all that. So in that way, sometimes it's very difficult to adjust your diet, but it affects your health. Remember, in a certain setting, but you have to be careful for your health. I'll give you one strong example by which it will inspire you in any given situation. So I had this Jain friend of mine. So this Jain friend of mine, he became a devotee. So his parents were Jain, big Jain monks, means their family. So they started fighting with him. They fought with him and this and that, and they told him, you should become Jain monk. Why are you becoming Hare Krishna monk and this and that? Usual story. And then he was sent to the mental hospital by his parents, so that they wanted to forcibly get him out of Hare Krishna. They forcibly wanted to get him out of Hare Krishna. So he was sent to this mental hospital. It was a Christian mental hospital somehow. And the main food there was beef. Because they bought everything for cheap. So whatever was left out of these meat shops, beef shops, they would get. And that was the curry and rice, that's all. And some sabji maybe. That too something. He survived there 3 months because one devotee doctor was there. He survived there 3 months only on rice. And not only that, he started preaching. He started preaching to those people. And he literally had little rice, that's all. So the point is, the more we come to the mode of goodness, then in whatever given situation, we make the best. For example, I lived in temple almost 10 years of my life. Now, if I look back, so there were many devotees with health issues, many devotees having also stress-related issues, this and that. If there was anything that I could change first, if I look back, I could have eaten less. I could have eaten less. I could have, with whatever was available, we can always complain that there is too much food. Instead of complaining, if I could have eaten less and I could have adjusted at that time, my health even there would have been good. But it takes sometimes an individual setting to really realize. Sometimes we eat because we are in a group. Sometimes we eat because we are in, so all those things we should give up. We should cultivate our own we should cultivate our own habits. So what is good for our health? So Prabhuji, I have prasadam 2 times a day. So uncooked vegetables means basically I am saying sprouts are good. Sprouts are good. And sprouts are good, and juices are good, and juices is okay to have. Yes, actually, afternoon is the real good time to eat heavy. Afternoon is the real good time to eat heavy. So if you really want to get the best of your digestion, then afternoon is the peak pitta time. So morning, the more you have juices, the more you have hot water, the more you have in the day also. See, my health went so bad once in 2014. I went to a naturopathy. And when I went that was because of too much eating. So then I went in the temple, my own problem. So I went. So the main thing they told me was to improve your digestion, keep drinking hot water. This will stimulate the fire in the belly. So remember that thing. So morning also, and if you drink hot water with haldi, fresh turmeric or turmeric powder, ginger powder, this is very, very good. So, okay, so how much length sprout should be there? We headed there. Too much sprout causes acidity. Yes, exactly. So that is why I said when you eat sprout, we don't eat sprout directly. So Bhagavatananda Prabhu's beautiful question is, so we don't take sprout directly. So what do? We saute it. never take sprouts directly. So what we do is we saute it in ghee. When you saute it, the acidity goes away. So that is why in our book, the prana sprout salad, we saute the sprout. You add a little veggies and you saute it with ghee, the acidity goes away. It is very good. And we take that on a regular basis. And now we are doing these cooking videos, so we are less time for that. But and then the cooking video, the kids and our books and this fasting, and we are like stretched. But sprouts is ideally morning, you just saute it and it's amazing. Ramdev Baba Sag. Ramdev Sag. Okay, I was confused. What is Ramdev Baba Sag? But then now I realize Ramdev Baba says one should drink water with honey as soon as we get up before we wash our mouth. How far is it true? It is not true. It is not in Ayurveda. Ramdev Baba is very, very unconventional. And to his credit, Ramdev Baba gets the credit that he was he was hit with polio in his childhood. And he practiced yoga and he came out, but he is one in a special case. Ramdev Baba is one in a special case. But if you see what he did, I found in Pune, 2 brahmacharis told me they followed Ramdev Baba. So what they did this heavy. They did all that. So what happened? After that, they got in the stomach, they got a tear. What do you call that? I forget the name. There's some name for that. You get a tear. You cannot do like that. You have to breathe slow, deep, and then you have to do Surya Namaskar. You have to strengthen your belly. So when I do my sessions, when I do individual sessions in the Chandrayaan, so I am strengthening the core. I'm strengthening the belly first for devotees.
They got hernia?
Hernia.
You mean hernia?
Hernia. They got hernia. So the thing is, in Yoga Sutras, that is why Yoga Sutras is very important. The therapeutical application of yoga, he says, Tasmin sati shwasa vishwasa yoho gati vichchedah pranayamaha. First he says, Patanjali says, Sthiram Sukham Asanam. So whatever position, if you are able to sit in a position for more than 2 hours, Siddhasana or something, that cleanses you, that balances you. So any asana that you are able to do peacefully, Sthiram Sukham. Tata dvandvan vighataha. Then your body, the body carries air pressure. So air pressure carries your thought. Now when you do too much pressure like this, when you do too much pressure on your body, so if your body cannot hold that pressure, so that is why he insists that we should practice asana first. In the Hatha Yoga Pradipika also it says, Hatasya pratamanga asana muchyate kuryat tadasanam sthiryam dhairyam cha angalaghavam. And in that what it means is that by practice of asana, one gets strengthening of the body. So for devotees especially, I found that many of us have so many health issues, mind related issues. You boil it down to one thing, the imbalance of 3 doshas and the movement of vata. Imbalance of 3 doshas can be taken care by diet, sleep. Second, the vata can be taken care by asana. So, but asana you have to do, and when your asana is strong, when your body becomes strong, then what happens? You are able to hold the air. So that means you have to be able to, when I do the yoga class, practical yoga class, that is 4 days from now, we will do a practical yoga class. I will show the Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, strengthening the belly. So I will show all that. So when you do that, you are able to hold the air. The longer you are able to hold your air, you can actually, your concentration level improves like anything. That's when you are able to hold the air. So you cannot do these heavy exercises without guidance. So that is why asana is first. So that is why when I teach methodical. So many things, many people say, they do this. Some people even say, like Morarji Desai used to drink urine, do this, like I know one yogi, he does morning his own urine, like Morarji Desai. They do, in some yoga schools they do. They are unconventional. But this is not mentioned in any scripture. Certain schools practice. So that is why we have to go by Ayurveda, Shastra. So whatever we say, So I try to find it with Shastra, with
More food I got.
experience. The only thing with honey, remember always, one thing I want to say about honey is that honey should never be mixed with anything hot. When I was young, little boy, my father used to always take me to the Ayurvedic clinic near our house. And whatever medicine he used to give in the Ayurvedic clinic, he used to give the honey with the powder. So honey is good to know things with medicine. But honey should not be put in hot water because it becomes poison. Honey should always be taken separately if you want to take. That is for medicine, or honey and ginger you can mix. Honey and ginger, it's very good for cold. But don't put it in hot water and take, or water for that matter. Honey and ginger juice, ginger or honey ka juice you can take, like that. Never mix. Honey should be taken separately. Honey is special. It should be taken separately. I hope that question is answered. Prabhuji, what is the best time to have breakfast? Okay, so the breakfast time. So basically, morning juices, everything is good. Around 8:30 is the best time for breakfast. So you can have little sprout, little. If you can take two liquids, that is the chia seed water. Chia seed water is the best, like what we do, or sabja water. Sabja water. Other than that, fruit juices, green juices. So this is all in our book, Food for the Soul. We divide it in such a way that you can continue to have it like that. But around 8:30, around that time is the good time. Don't take it too early. Don't take it too late, because that ideally, and try to have little ginger. In our Indian, this thing, we do this panakam, gur ke saath. Panakam is good. And when I was in India, I used to encourage people not to use sugar, but to use misri. Even if you want to take, in India, maple syrup is not so much available, or maybe available now, I don't know. But sugar candy, misri for sweetener is very, very good if you want to put it in your juice or something, because yogi's food is slightly on the sweeter side. You don't make it too hot. मतलब उसको ज़्यादा चिल्ली वाला नहीं बनाते. That is rajasic, Okay. I have amla pitta. Should I take lemon and hot water? So if you have amla pitta, lemon and hot water, perfect. Actually, your amla pitta is acidity. So when you take lemon with water, so that makes your body alkaline. So that is why in all our chia seed juices in our book, Food for the Soul, I'm highlighting my book. So so we have some copies in Bombay. All of you can get it, buy it. So this, so in that, what we have highlighted is the lemonade. But when you add sugar, that lemonade effect is gone. So lemon and water is good. So lemon, you add maple syrup or misri or gur is good. So that lemon makes your lime makes your body alkaline. Excellent. Prabhuji, but then I eat at 10 a.m. and then again at 6 p.m., which is still okay. So when you're having late, if you skip the breakfast, drink a lot of water and generate enough hunger. So if you're eating at 10 a.m., then it's like a brunch, which is good, but then you're giving enough time to digest. So that is good. The problem that most people have, that I see, is once you have something and then snacking after an hour and a half. I realized this. So when I was in Bhaktivedanta, I was in Mira Road Temple, and I just joined the temple as brahmachari, and I had the same schedule, 9:30 after Bhagavatam class, around 10 o'clock, full meal. So after you have full meal, like an hour and a half later, I was hungry again. And then I was like looking for something to eat because of habit. Then my counselor told me, Prabhu, you need to drink a lot of water. So the point is, sometimes, yes, if our schedule is like this, then you eat twice. Actually, in a day, you should not eat more than twice. That is Ayurvedic. And actually, you get number of times you have the heavy meal. That is the number of times you get stool also. So if you eat twice heavy meal, then you get 2 times you have to go. You eat one heavy meal, then you have to go 1 time in a day. So the night should be lesser. Even if you're doing that, morning you take heavy, but don't eat in between. In between, you have to take a lot of hot water so that it digests. But at 6 p.m., dinner should be, practically speaking, 3/4 or half of what you have eaten in the afternoon. But again, depends the kind of work. If you're heavy physical working, then it's fine. But if not, take half. In that way, your health will be better. Okay, so I hope that answered the question. Is it okay to give milk to kids for breakfast with haldi and rock candy? Okay, for kids it's different, but in kids you have to give them carbohydrates, milk. That is all fine. Milk becomes very beneficial in the later half of the day, but for kids it's fine because they are always hungry, so that is fine. But for you, don't take milk in the morning. Haldi is good, rock candy is good, yes, that is fine. Okay, what is the right time to have milk? Okay, next question. Yes, so milk night. Milk is the best time to have milk is at night. Hot milk. My Guru Maharaj takes hot milk with gur. I don't know. If you mess up the timing of adding the gur, it can burst. So I have had several bursts trying to make milk for my Guru Maharaj. So, but I would say the best time to have milk is at night. It is said morning, it doesn't give you good health if you have milk in the morning, because milk is a lot of sugar, and also it is not good in the morning, but at night it's good. I used to have very hot milk with every lunch, but that's not that good. It's too much rajas also. Okay, what all sprouts should we make? What vegetables do we need to mix sprouts? Okay, so what sprouts should we make? So there is green gram, there is a black eye bean. My wife also made a sprout sort of quinoa. It's in the book, quinoa sprouts. I was amazed. Then you have fenugreek, methi, peas, kala chana, and even garbanzo beans. All the sprouts are beneficial because they are at the root nascent stage, full bubbling with energy. This is like when you are in your raw youth. So that is the seed. It's in its raw youth. It has all the juice. But like I said, like Bhagavatanand Prabhu said, that too much of it, if you do not saute it, if you saute it, it's good. What vegetables can you have with it? You can have any vegetable, but not potatoes and things. You need to have something which is leafy, which digests equally fast. If you mix it with it something that takes time to digest, like potatoes and other things like sura and all that, no. You should put with that, like if you see the veggies we have added, it's like these greens, the prana sprout. I wish, I think I have, let me show you the picture of it in our book. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. This is the lemonades in the book, for example. This is one copy that, sprouts. Okay, sprouts, salad. So we have sprout. Okay, here. Oh, here it is. Okay, here is the prana sprout salad. So this is with this green. So what she has added, bell peppers, serrano peppers, turnip greens, and yeah, basically, then you can add bell peppers, matlab jaise, then we have this sprout salad. So this is beet tarang salad with sprout. So you can see cucumber, little things that are easy to digest, quick. Then we have, this is a little heavy. So this is moringa salad. This is dressing, but then this is like a bean. This is like a lunch kind of. So we have different types of these salad mixes in the book. And depending on whether you are having it for breakfast, you can have it for lunch also. In the lunch also, there is, you can add these beans and all that. But morning, if you're taking, then you have like like you saw there, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, carrot and beetroot and cucumber, turnip greens, all that. Okay. I tried using mishri, but it becomes difficult to remove thread of mishri. So you have to use the broken one, so you have to break it. Some austerity is there when you try to use something different. Some austerity is there.
Actually, Prabhuji, this mishri is sometimes small also, but it is having some thread inside. So then again, means okay, breaking it with that small breaking that mortar. That you
Yeah,
are saying, Prabhuji.
that you have to do. That you have to break down. For example, when we use Himalayan pink salt, it comes in rock. We use the raw pink salt. So we break it down.
Okay.
So we break it down.
Okay. Because
so it
that.
takes, so some things you have to break it down. You have to take the austerity of trying to break it down.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, what that meaning eating snacks in between the meals is not good. We can't even have fruits in between meals. Okay, fruits are an exception, but not too much also. One fruit. See, the quantity matters, what you eat matters. What you should completely avoid is eating all these flour things. Flour matlab ye kya bolte hai? Besan, this haldiram ka, what is that? Chutputa, churmura, all these things, and all that spicy things. They have pesticides, I told you. And they have too many preservatives. So they are not good for digestion. So please avoid eating any of those things. Jैसे India में I really miss sometimes this puffs. We used to eat so much puff, biscuits. But now I realize that they are actually poisonous. And what happens is the more you eat in between, see your stomach also, to digest, the stomach also has to give proper digestive juices to you. Proper digestive juices to you. When you keep on eating, every time it's getting activated. So you're not giving it enough time to recover. So after a full meal, it digests everything. It puts all the digestive juices, it digests everything, and then it has to throw it out into the intestine. If you keep on eating, it's like your generator, abhi to band kiya, chal shuru kar. But hot teas, hot water, you are actually pushing the food down. You are helping your digestion. But in between, if you snack, that is what becomes your fat. I saw in all the interviews that I did for this Chandrayana, the ones who had the most fat were the ones who were snacking a lot. This snacking is disastrous. If we do not discipline eating, Atha Yoganushasanam, the first Yoga Sutra, discipline. I found more discipline in Bihar School of Yoga than any temple of ours. And in Bihar School of Yoga, night 6 o'clock to morning 6 o'clock, Maun Vrat. And only thing they do is Kirtan. And then they are silent, because whatever you have eaten, whatever you have heard, whatever you have done, you have to digest it, you have to calm down. And in the morning also, they calm down, they do deep meditation, they don't speak, they just cleanse, and they have the proper meal. And when eating, everybody is silent, meditating on their meal. And you look at their health. And then nobody snacks in between. They are very busy. Then, see, it's like you set your blocks. This time to this time, this time to this time, this. Your mind is really, and that's how you study also. This time to this time. That's how I wrote my book also. When I started fasting, my book went really fast. I was thinking fasting, I will write my book. But it changed like anything. Because your focus, your level of concentration, because you're not digesting all the time. You're snacking cow, then you're digesting, then you're trying to think. It's all, so that's how a yogi should be. That's how, if you see Prabhupada, very definite time, good lunch, then he used to whole day, so many hours he used to focus every moment. Okay. Digestion is weak right in the night, and milk is complex sugar. So milk, I'll tell you something very special about milk. So at night, when hot milk, so Prabhupada said we should boil milk thrice. Then it digests really nicely. Second thing is, milk is very miraculous in Ayurveda. So that is why we have to follow the cycle at when a food should be taken. So what we do with that milk is we take that hot milk, and I'll tell you, you add half a spoon of ghee, haldi ke saath, 1 spoon haldi and 1 spoon ghee. Uttam Maheshwari tells this. And whoever I have told this, they have cured. You stand up and drink that hot milk sip by sip. And when you drink that hot milk sip by sip, it heals your knees. Your knee pain will be gone. So you should drink milk only hot. Prabhupada said if you drink cold milk, that's why ये जो आता है ना क्या बोलते हैं Starbucks का sugar वाला drink, then you get this milk क्या है वो rose milk, this milk, that milk, you know, they take this, that and all is very harmful with sugar. That just passes through your system and comes out as urine and also could become poison. Hot milk digests. So that is why milk should be taken hot.
Prabhuji, one question. This milk should be to relieve this knee pain. One should have it in standing position, or
yes, Uttam Maheshwari tells that, and many people whomever I have told, there was temple president of Brampton, Rajsuya Prabhu. I can give you his testimony. He came to. I was in New Vrindavan, so he came and said once, Gaurav Raj Prabhu gave us 6 months ago that you have to stand and drink hot milk. And within 6 months, he and his wife both had severe knee pain. Everything went away completely. Yeah. So it's very amazing. So milk can be very, very energizing and helpful to the body if you drink it hot. Okay, how to get a copy of the book? So I will send in the WhatsApp group the number of my brother-in-law in Bombay. So he has 200 copies. So get your copy right now. So I think the postal services might start. So we have 1 or 2 copies to ship right away. And we are going to ship and you can order through him. So I'll make a link from which you can order with your card or I'll check if you can directly give it to him. So I'll send you the details in the WhatsApp group and you can get it. If all of you get together and we could ship it to one place or one city or 2 cities, you know, we can pack everything and just send it quickly. That's an option that I will send the details. Is it okay to drink hot tea with sprouts for breakfast? The hot tea we are talking about is haldi and ginger. I learned one thing in Ayurveda is that when you have lunch or any food, if you have weak digestion, then add ginger powder. So hot tea is not this hot tea, not this green tea, this tea, that tea. This is not tea. So tea मतलब वो हमारा cinnamon tea, जो हमारे book में है, cinnamon tea, cumin tea. These are all good teas. So that is fine, you know, that is digestive. Now that COVID scenario is going on, can you recommend how to increase immunity? So that is why I am doing Chandrayana Vrat. So today morning, just before this class also, early morning, I had a yoga class. And the main thing that people are having is heavy stomach and high BP, high flow, high pressure, and many of them have diabetes borderline also. So I am doing individually, I am designing a program because the thing is you have to control these symptoms. And how can you control? Diet and exercise, that's it. A new study has come, not new study, it is an old study, but they have made it new. The best way to lose, the best way to gain, for example, हम लोग इतना TV बचपन से, what is that? मैंने प्यार किया, तुमने प्यार किया. We have watched all these movies. We ate so much, you know, crap. We drank so much coffee and tea. Or it causes so much of loss of brain green matter. Okay, my son was. Okay, my son is here, so you will hear some sounds. so today we are going overtime. It's fine. So the thing is, so the best way to overcome. So you can see him here. So the best way to overcome our that is exercise. So the best immunity builder is actually vigorous exercise. That is why when I did this fast, I did not just fast. I backed it up with yoga when I did the fast. Of course, mine was Krach Chandrayana. Krach Chandrayana means you don't eat. Chandrayana is you eat, but you reduce. But Krach Chandrayana, what I did, you fast, but I did every day. And now I can practice at any time of the day because you mold your body completely. The immunity level, your fat levels completely goes away and your immunity comes back. But that requires body to come to the mode of goodness. Patanjali explains 3 methods. Beautiful methods. He says, Janma Aushadhi Tapasya. Either you are by birth, you have very good health and wealth. We are not that category. Second is Aushadhi. If you know the Ayurvedic herbs that can give you that benefit. If not, Tapasya. What is Tapasya? Tapasya is Anganga. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama. So sattvic diet, sattvic eating with strong exercise and also deep chanting. The one that changed the whole thing, that inspired me to continue, was that I was sitting in Siddhasan. Siddhasan, Lord Shiva says, Lord Shiva sits in Siddhasan. It purifies 72,000 nadis, but you have to sit 1.5 hours. So that is the best time to chant, the best asana to sit and chant. But how do you sit like that? So that for that you need strong thighs. So I started exercising. So the whole preparation was to sit, to be able to sit for 2 hours. And when you are sitting in Siddhasan and all the nadis are cleansed, you get a wonderful effect. Your mantra flows to every tube. The sound flows so beautifully. But you should be able to sit with back straight like Prabhupada says. That is the best immunity. But to reach that stage, so what I'm doing group classes, individual classes in this whole Chandrayana fast, so that everyone individually, because not everybody can do everything. So I individually try to help from whatever they can do. And those who are already doing asana, I also do yoga nidra. So for example, if you have trauma, stress, the only way I was able to overcome all trauma, stress, yoga nidra. Yoga nidra, you really go deep into Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya. You completely focus on your breath. You completely focus on your mind. That is like Vipassana. You can actually see your own mind working. So you have to go deeper. So basically, if the mind is healed, if you are physically strong, mind is lucid, nothing can happen to you. Your immunity is amazing. No disease can come to you. But if your mind is disturbed, if our schedule is not there, so it's a whole mix. So if we do this systematically, diet control, asana, proper chanting, it will come. It's a whole lifestyle. It's not just one thing. So yoga is a whole lifestyle. Bhakti is a whole lifestyle. Okay. Prabhuji, how much time does it take for the food to get digested? 4 hours. 2 hours it takes to go in, 4 hours to completely go into the intestine, 16 hours to come out. 16 hours to come out. So 16 hours to come out. So that is why it is very, very tough that is why humans are not supposed to eat meat, because what happens is meat, it has to come out very quickly. If it doesn't come out very quickly, it becomes toxin. That is why most Americans are getting cancer, because of the meat, the chemicals in the meat. So when you eat, if you eat one heavy meal, you're taxing your body less. So when you eat 2 heavy meals, then it takes so much more time to come out. So it is like traffic. Okay, is ebook available? I'm not doing ebook right now because I'm a little bit concerned about piracy. So I'm just going for until the physical copies are done, I won't do the ebook. Okay. So do you suggest what kind of exercise for high blood pressure? Okay. So when we do the practical asanas, so we will do, I will do a series for one day I want to do for diabetics. So what I'll do is half an hour I will keep for diabetic series and half an hour for blood pressure. Because if I tell you, I mean, just quickly, it will not be easy. So I will take this into consideration. If anybody wants to add yoga for something, then I can add that also. So I'm adding yoga for diabetes because that's a common problem. So I can do blood pressure. Blood pressure has to do basically with the deep breathing and certain stretching. So hand stretch, leg stretch, and actually you have to exercise your lungs, the chest area. You need strong that, and also it should be with food, so we will do a combination. So I will take this suggestion. So what I'll do is, so today is breakfast, tomorrow is lunch, day after tomorrow is dinner. So then fourth day I will add the asanas. Okay. Is it okay to take buttermilk during Chandrayaan fasting? Buttermilk is okay. It is cooling. It's not heavy on digestion also. Prabhuji, add yoga to lose belly fat. Of course, that is the first thing we will have to add. Because all your health, Krishnamacharya says, that book, Yoga Rahasya, it changed. He says yoga means bhakti. Anyone who thinks yoga is for something else, it is not for bhakti. He's a fool, he says. This is not him. Nath Muni, the founder of Sri Vaishnavism, he says, yoga is for bhakta. Yoga is for meditation on Sriman Narayana within the heart. When I read that, I had tears in my eyes when I was starting to write my book. This book is going to change my life. And from all these years of experience, the only thing my realization is, if devotees, we do not come to the mode of goodness, we are stuck there. The only difference between those devotees who have progressed very high is they have changed, molded their lifestyle to the mode of goodness. Yesterday, Madhvananda Prabhu's lecture I was listening, and he said, the first effect of devotional service is Kleshagni Nasha. Kleshagni. What is Klesha? We do not know what is Klesha. So Klesha means avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. So avidya, ignorance. Asmita. Then when we forget ourselves, we get identified with ego. So then we want to satisfy mera man. Then you sing that Hindi song. My mind wants this. I want to eat this. Not that what is good for me, but my mind wants this. That is asmita. Then what happens once you do that? Raga, you get attached. Once you get attached to something, then what I am getting attached to, that is the best. What somebody is getting attached to, that is the worst. So raga, dvesha. Then fear. Once you get attached to something, then there is fear. Then you want the situation, position. So this is all mental. He says this is all mental disease. So he says that physical disease is a manifestation of the mental mental problem we are going through. So whatever you are going through physically is the problem of the mind. So Krishnamacharya says yoga means to heal the mind. But for that you have to overcome klesha. Klesha is overcome by tapasya. So Chandrayana, so the whole lifestyle, eating is healing, practice is healing, breathing is healing. So when you read Bhagavad Gita right, you get inspired. That is healing. So when you heal yourself and you display that happiness, the other person is automatically inspired. You don't have to preach heavy. But when you do, you can preach heavy when you are experiencing that ecstasy. But for that, when you are steadily in the mode of goodness. So my goal, Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj also encouraged and inspired me to do this. And somehow now Krishna is just blessing that I should focus on this, is that to help devotees, to come with the mode of goodness. And I hope we can do something, for devotees especially, and for the yoga world in general. What about hot beetroot and carrot soup? Is it good? Yes, carrot I would avoid, not so much carrot, because carrot is very heavy in sugar. So carrot is, beetroot is fine. Beetroot is very healthy. Carrot is something to avoid. Not so much. Doing yoga and exercise in the evening is okay, as Man is as is. Yes. Actually, I practice in the evening only. Because what happens is, even in Ashtanga Yoga, it is said morning, your body is a little tighter compared to the evening. Evening, your body, because of movement, your body becomes flexible. So, एक lunch कर लिया. So after you have lunch, so then you keep 4 hours gap.
Okay.
And morning, I will teach you what to do in the morning. I will teach 3 classes after this. I will teach you like morning, you have to work on your stomach to lose fat. So morning you work on your belly, then you have lunch, and then in the evening you can practice full. So morning is like kriya, cleansing. Then evening you practice. So you see, our shastras have already mentioned 3 times, and yoga mentions 4 times. Dhyayanstu amstasya yashastri sandhyam vande guru shri charanaravindam. I was thinking, we sing that every day. But what is that? Sandhya is the time when it's neither morning nor afternoon, neither it's afternoon nor evening, neither evening nor night. Then there is midnight. Interestingly, every morning, afternoon, or evening has a certain guna. Like afternoon, it is rajoguna. Night, it is tamoguna. But these sandhyas are pure guna. In that time, your mind is something, if you have followed the rituals, your mind can be concentrated the best because their guna is different. So that is why these are the best times, afternoon, evening, morning, to chant Gayatri. But to chant Gayatri, one has to do pranayam. Pranayame viniyogaha. If you see Rigveda, Sandhyavandanam is followed after Gayatri. The Gayatri is after pranayam. So pranayam means your breath control. So breath and thought. Like I said, everything is movement of air. Pranayama, you hold the breath. That is what Dhruva Maharaj did. And then he chanted Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya only in the mind, without any other. Because traffic ruka hua hai. All your thoughts are suspended. And you are completely focusing on the mantra. So when your breathing coherence is there, when you calm down, sometimes a response, fight and flight response that we have is usually like we have to become aggressive to solve a situation. No, a yogi becomes even more deeper. If you see Kalaripayat warriors, when they focus on the enemy, they stop their heartbeat. Because to concentrate, you need to go deeper. You need to calm down even deeper. Earlier, even 2 years ago, I was thinking to do something, you have to be very aggressive. No, you have to become more calm. That is the yogic response. The yogic response is to go even deeper, even more calm. So that is possible with the whole lifestyle. We cannot just do it that I sit to chant Gayatri and my mind is calm. No. So everything that we do should become meditative. But first it begins with food, exercise. Then you will see, if you do this for one Chandrayana and you exercise nicely, imagine the next month you are very calm when you are working, when you are doing anything. You are so enthusiastic, so much full of energy. I couldn't have even imagined that 12 hours I will do these Zoom calls and I'm still enthusiastic the next day. Like I'm doing this every morning, 7:30 my time. Today I fixed the class even earlier. And now after this, I have 9 classes after this. I'm all enthusiastic. I'm all energetic. It's all because of the, I would say, nature is giving us. So I will end with this. And Patanjali says, what should be our response? It is like a farmer. There are 2 fields. So one field there is water, and another field the farmer wants water. All he has to do is open the canal, like the bund, create a gap, and water will flow from there to here. So similarly, within our body can heal itself. Remember, Ayurveda says your body has the power to heal itself, provided you give it the proper medicine. So food is that medicine. Second, you create the proper environment with the mind and the body. Sleep well, get up well, focus well. And when you do that, you will find amazing changes which you wouldn't have even thought of. You are activating the healing mechanism of your own body. What can be better? So that should be our goal. So that should be our goal, that we come to the mode of goodness, and it's basically it is mode of goodness. All right, so I will stop here, and thank you all for these wonderful questions. So tomorrow's topic is lunch. Okay, so I think we had a good breakfast today, so we can have good lunch tomorrow. Hare Krishna, and see you all again at the same time tomorrow then. And I'm posting these recordings, and also on my YouTube channel, you can subscribe and you can share this video also. More devotees might get inspired. And I have a Facebook page also, Gaura Nataraj Das, apart from my Facebook. So you can like that page also, because tomorrow onwards I'm putting videos on sitting with back straight, best asanas for chanting. So I'm doing all that. So thank you once again so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
and thank you
Prabhuji.
for all your
Hare
messages. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.